Hello and welcome back to the Chiropterra Commonwealth. Today we will keep fighting these annoying resistances and we will murder them all. Well, we won't murder them all. We'll murder like their leadership and get them to get the people to give up. Yada yada. You know what I mean. You get it, right? Right? Come, you get it. You get what I'm really going for, right? The recent experiences on the battlefield prove that our light tanks have their limits when facing a determined opponent. The solution to such problems is a complete overhaul of our armed forces. Our new tanks must be larger, heavier armored, and their new armaments should allow them to deal with everything the enemy might throw at them, especially other tanks. Yeah, I totally have been testing out these tanks and going out to war with them. Yeah. That's definitely something I have been doing. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, sure, definitely. I've been doing so much of that. Just so much. It's basically been my entire game plan, you know? Yeah, definitely, yeah. Alright, let's check out, so, yeah, you two are going to war, but you're also at war with the entire communist bloc, so you probably have a little more to worry about, especially since they're communist, and will probably join the communist bloc at some point. Oh boy, you've fallen apart even more, you're only friends, like, oh, they fell under, so you just left, and you fell under them. So now you're just you and what, you have two puppets? And Lake City is disgusting. Wow. Okay. Wow, you're basically, yeah. The Hillfolk League is you two and you're fighting the Fir Tree villages. Interesting. Then, you know, the Lunar Dominion, of course. And then there's the weird Ancient Pact over here, which I'm curious to see what they're like, since they're the only faction that, like, appears naturally by AI. Like, they're the only ones starting out. So I'm interested in what their Ancient Pact will be like once they actually get focus trees. But the Stanchion. The Stanchion is a modern anti-tank rifle that gives its users the power of an anti-tank gun in the power of their hooves. Okay, whatever. Early trials are promising, with live fire demonstrations coming in a matter of months. The ammunition the tank weapon uses can be altered as well depending on the range, target, or environment. All around, a promising and unique weapon for our Legion arsenals. Okay, sounds good. Now, I think it's time for me to just start giving them some stuff so that they stop trying to gain autonomy, because they're not allowed to do that. Sorry, Z. I'm gonna just delete these ones. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up those first, though. Well, you've made it to 50%? No? Sad. I don't know how far I need to get for that, but that's gonna take a while. Jet engine technology. Okay, where can I get that? Let's start heading down that way. Who can I just take off for now? Yeah, you, come on. Just so I can actually have some things to do. Oh, The Stanchion Project. The Stanchion Project has recently moved to the testing phase, meaning we are one step closer to the portable anti-tank rifle that will give us an edge in combating armored vehicles. A recent report from the weapons development and research team has requested a formal renaming of the weapon when it enters production to be a Lancer, though. The team's reasoning is to honor of one of the Legion's officers assigned to the live firing tests, Captain Moonlight Lancer. Captain Lancer was tasked with testing the weapon's capabilities from a higher vantage point. The Threshold followed all orders to a letter and decided that the best vantage point was in flight over the target. It is hard to describe the surprise of the team when Captain Lancer fired the Stanchion Project without even supporting it against a passing cloud. Suffice to say, the recoil broke the officer's shoulder and fall shattered one of his wings. Although the lesson was invaluable to the development team and proved their theories on the weapon's recoil in flight to be correct, they wish to formally commemorate the officer that led to them these conclusions. Captain Lancer has taken this all in good faith and has made it clear that he welcomes the distinction of being the first of many to be put on their flank by this unholy thing. So technically I could just click it, make it where he doesn't die, but it's one pody power, and I'm going to respect his death by letting it actually reflect in my number. Yeah. Oh, this actually, okay, cool. The special development projects are grants given to those within our borders pursuing special engineering projects that have the potential to be of great benefit to our nation. These are unlike formal research projects, as government provides limited oversight and instead writes a check to the teams engaging in their developments. The following list of projects below are those that are available for funding at this time. The Lancer MK2. The next model of the Lancer will be locked in 1009. Yeah, I think we're past that part. So I think I can just spam through these at this point. Recent advancements in jet engines have introduced a new fighter model to our arsenal. Its speed is unmatched compared to our current models, and it heralds the beginning of a new generation of aircraft. It would be wise to invest in such technology to assure our uncontested control of the skies. Yes, of course. Sad. This is gonna take forever. Then we have Adopt the Luna Nova. Magical rifles are a novelty, unreliable perhaps, but their efficiency cannot be denied. Gone are the times when only unicorns could launch devastating spells against their enemies. Through a more widespread adoption of such weapons, our forces will be capable of punching well above their weight. I don't want your troops. I guess for now, I'm going to just go ahead and keep playing without you guys, and I'll just turn back on the recording once I hit an actual, like, event, or I unlock new focuses I can do. Whichever one comes first. But, yeah, I guess I'll see you in a little bit. So, as you can see, one day has passed. I know, right? In our most recent raid outside of Chiropterra, 2 junior officers have been accused of reckless endangerment to Legion property and a general abandonment of common sense, dignity, and maternity. The accused officers raced their all-terrain Puma vehicles across open terrain under fire and blaring traditional hymns to Nightmare Moon while conducting their attack. Although they have defended themselves by claiming that their bold and decisive actions prevented the raiding party from being overrun, the sheer lunacy of their solution had to be addressed. When asked to explain why they were playing music of all things during the attack, the officers claimed that it helped calm down their own troops in the fight, while also scaring the Tartarus out of the enemy. While the LMRD will look into the effect of these alternative tactics, both officers have been reprimanded in the meantime. That is not authorized use of military equipment. I don't know, if it works, it works. I don't know why we're getting angry. I mean, it worked, didn't it? But I'll see you again once another event shows up. Unless it's tomorrow. Then I'll literally see you in a moment. Welcome back. Not only did I get an event after going adapt the new Lunar Nova, but also I realized I don't need to have the jet technology to do this. I literally just need to have completed that focus, so I can go down here anyways. The Lunar Rifle. A stallion sat in his hospital bed and thought on his life. Coffee Hayes knew guns, that's for certain. If there was anything in a crazy world of 1,000-year-old army of exiles and immortal princesses, that was certain. It was that Coffee Hayes could take apart any gun and make an improved copy of it. He might not be a Thrustrel or a Pegasus with their wings, not a unicorn with their fancy magic. But Coffee Hayes knew his guns, and this here new model Lunar Rifle was about the strangest thing a Legionnaire ever plopped down on his desk and told him to figure out. Nightmare's sake, the thing didn't even fire bullets, just charged burst from a crystal. It didn't make a salt lick of sense. How in the name of Tartarus did it even have recoil? There wasn't any cartridge being ejected. The Stallion's work on the weapon had taken weeks and a dozen different variants. Even when he copied the Lunar Rifle part for part, it broke apart in his hooves. Either the weapon itself was shoddy, or his work was, and the latter was near impossible. Things would change, though. He finally figured out that by expanding the cooling ports along the barrel of the rifle, he could not only mitigate the recoil, but allow the weapon to cycle through its crystal cartridges at a faster rate. It was a stroke of genius. I just forgot the fact that if I didn't account for the magical discharge when removing the magazine, I risked burning my flank something fierce, which I did. Coffee Hayes said with a shake of his head, sitting up a bit straighter as he offered a smile to the Legionnaire. Rest assured, though, I'll get it next time. For if there was one thing Coffee Hayes knew, it was guns. It got a bit of kick, that's for sure. The Lehigh Reforms. A new proposal has arrived before the council bearing Lehigh's own signature. After a thorough analysis on the conduct of our forces during the North Zebrica War, he argues, the role of our Air Force was crucial in many occasions to beat back the hippogriffs. His plan proposes a robust set of reforms to keep our flyers in top shape for the wars of the future. Might as well. Well, actually, no. I'd rather... Yeah, I think I'd rather use this to get that one going. So yeah, I'm gonna do something else with that for now. Do I want the elite of the elite or massed forces? I'm gonna go with massed forces. After Lehigh reforms, you got Aerial Logistics Department. Supplies are a core element of any combat operations, and our focus should always be on denying them to the enemy, protecting our own. By developing appropriate procedures to resupply our forces in a substantial manner from the air, we'll no longer have to worry about our troops outrunning their supply lines. And intercontinental operations, as we expand the scope of our operations, we'll need to start taking into serious consideration the possibility that we'll be operating far from our borders for extended periods of time. We must make sure that the distance won't be an impediment to our bomber fleets. I'll start with this one. Why not? Boop. And the last one. Nuclear capabilities. It is a well-established truth that peace can be maintained only through the threat of violence. Now that we've begun the development of our own nuclear arsenal, we require the means to deliver it against our enemies, and regular bombers won't do. New models shall be developed, and developed should the situation require them. Oh, I can make a nuke there now. Put that at the top, because nukes are good. Nukes come first. Why? Well, why not? The Carthaginian one is, I'm gonna go ahead and stop these last two. Just because, since they're pretty much there, I can go ahead and let them finish up and then go to the next one. Oh, develop Lancer next mark. Because why not? But I think I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys later after the next event shows up, or after I deal with these guys. Just because even though there's a little more focus tree, I've already read it, and at this point, since I'm gonna be waiting for a good long while to actually be able to continue on with an actual big focus tree, I think it would be easiest just to have you guys show up for any events and then be able to continue as normal once we can actually continue down a normal focus tree. See you in a bit. And we are finally back. Oh, that took a while. And I've only dealt with one, but here's the event for dealing with the first one. Officially, there never was any security operation in New Bales. The newspaper would report it in the following days as a tragic accident. A minor gas leak that had sparked a mighty conflagration and effectively brought down an entire apartment block. Surely a tragedy, yes. But the local police shut the case rather quickly. Governor Carrotstick would later declare a couple of days of mourning for the unfortunate victims. But that would be it. Unofficially, however, the security operation in New Bales would go down in the annals of the Nightmare Hoof as the organization's greatest triumph, nearly rivaling Operation Moonshine in scope, and for good reason. It had followed months of intelligence and counterintelligence work, pitting the True Moon Society against the Nightmare's Hoof, best field operatives in the veritable game of cat and mouse across the entirety of the Commonwealth. In the end, despite the Jackal's thoroughness, he simply did not possess the sheer mole of resource that his opponents had. His headquarters was eventually tracked down through a simple mail mare to an apartment complex, and that's where the Nightmare Hoof struck mercilessly. The Jackal probably expected a midnight raid or a sniper from a rooftop. What he failed to consider, however, was the cargo truck loaded with nitroglycerin. Can we be sure he's dead? He better be after all that effort I just did. Yeah, but we've dealt with one of them. The old regime was more concerned with military matters than caring for the nation's people. Resources will be diverted to civilian goods and services, improving the quality of life for our people from their current Spartan conditions. This will allow our people to enjoy the hard-earned fruits of their labors, and will get quality of life improvements. Yay! I changed around my mill factories some. Whew. Okay. Well, that took forever, but we should be able to get going. Laying the foundations. Why are we here? Strongwind asked with a roll of her eyes, the engineer flicking a grime of sweat off her brow, adjusting the harness that kept her strapped to the pole as her hooves carefully worked on wiring up the lightning arresters. Because you're an electrical engineer who decided the best use of her fleeting youth was to serve the Night Empress in all her glory, Midnight Runner noted with a bemused laugh as he floated up beside her, the threshold twisting around in the air lazily as he offered her a half-eaten, something that the locals had whipped up. Bin Zamal dropped it off while you were busy doing the real work. It's good. No thanks, still can't believe you're tolerating that heathen brat calling you Leatherwing. And you didn't answer my question. Strong protested with a shake of her head, rejecting the local cuisine before closing the panel she had been working on. And why would I, a lowly legionary who made the same mistake you did, know any better? The soldier snickered. Three Ponies hadn't Have it ever had running water or electricity? It may not be a fun task like clearing minefields or breaching obstacles, but we're laying the groundwork for something important here. A future. A future? Holy horse apples, you're actually buying into that stuff the moon speakers have been pushing, the Strong said with a laugh, hardly believing our friend to be so easily swayed. When was the last time we've ever done an assignment surrounded by non-believers that didn't require us to carry weapons, or that had them give us food? Midnight countered as he shook the snack in his hooves with a laugh. Trickle all you want, but we're helping these ponies, and I think they see that. Hearts and minds. Hearts and minds. Yay! Well, I'm going to keep you guys with me because this should be enough, to deal with the second one just already. So yeah, let's get our next event. Liberators no more. In dealing with the red snake, there could not be a half measure. No such thing as unnecessary cruelty. Regular army, local auxiliaries, frontier forces, and other paramilitary. The nightmare's hoof itself. Every available resource was marshaled with the single task of eradicating the red cancer before it could spread. It was a long task, long and dirty. A web on information had to be implanted among the sympathetic populace to keep track of the NZLF. A carrot and stick approach was devised for dealing with the laborers, with prizes for those meeting their quotas, encouraging them to keep an eye on their colleagues and reporting them if necessary. Paramilitary groups and armed settler militias were constantly employed to break apart strikes and spread terror amongst unions. Veteran quick reaction forces took the fight to the liberation front, razing training camps, supply dumps, and sympathetic villages to the ground. Such thorough level of state terror finally brought fruit last week as the SAS finally conducted simultaneous decapitation strikes against members of these NZLF leadership. Apparently, our harsh measures had driven them to the edge of desperation, forcing them to take an ever-active role and thus exposing themselves. Unfortunately, our teams have failed to seize Dia alive. Hopefully your death will be enough to break their spirit for good. Socialism will never take root in the Commonwealth. Woo! Alright. One of the glaring divisions in Chiropterra society is the exclusionary view followers of Nightmare Moon have towards foreign religions. To heal this divide, restrictions on other religions will be removed, and an effort will be made to amalgamate the most prominent religious views of our people. This will promote integration and understanding among the population. That is very progressive of this nation. I'm very happy to see that. Whoop whoop. Things are pushing along pretty well. The Civil Liberties Act, birth of the Integration League. Under the previous regime, all non-threshold creatures were legally discriminated against. Although much has been done to purge the crime, a law will be enacted to erase any doubt regarding the rights of sentient beings in our borders. The new statute will proclaim that all sentient beings in the Commonwealth are equal, and any form of unfair discrimination will not be tolerated. Woo! Oh, we're so close. The birth of the Integration League. With the continued reforms of the Governor's Pact making headway in the Commonwealth, French harmonic extremists have been aligning themselves against the Carrot Crescent government. A disorganized grassroots effort, the Integration League is an organization largely made up of harmony supporters within newly occupied territories of the Commonwealth to the east. Due to their peaceful nature, though, they have not been marked the enemy combatants during the continued counterterrorism operations undertaken by the government. When asked for comment, Carrot supported the political dissidents. I may agree with what they are saying, but the means they are going about it, peaceful protests, lawful elections, and petitions local officials, it is everything I ever wanted to see in political opposition. Pressed for more commentary, the Governor General did relent that the Integration League's ideals are largely aligned with the Carrot Crescent government, but completely out of his hooves. There is no formal organization or political party like when we formed the pact. These are just ponies using modern means to communicate and organize. Lady Commander Auburn-Leaf was far less forgiving. The Integration League is out of line, period. The new government is making the reforms they're demanding, but that takes time. The Legionary Council will continue to support the Governor General in all his efforts, and are prepared to handle the League if it gets out of hand. This has been flashing bulb with the evening report. The Integration League now exists. It's no longer just labeled as traitors. Nice. But I'll see you back in just a moment. A moment indeed, as in like 2 days. Carrot Stick stood on the other side of the wrought iron bars, the old prison cell, dilapidated and decayed. It was once a place itself guarded only by a moonspeaker, a place to hold heretics before trial. The prison only had one occupant now, though, the only case of moonspeaker guilty of treason in over a century. The small, frail thrustrel on the other side of the bars was the revolutionary moonspeaker herself, Dustwane. The Thresher's coat was a deep blue, his mane frayed with gray and white hairs. Narrow eyes stared up at Carrot Stick as he rumbled out a low chuckle. Governor Stick, I'm surprised that Lady Commander Hale is permitting me visitors. Tell me, has the Empress returned? I heard her voice one night, many moons ago. I felt it in my bones. The nightmare must have returned. You've been in here too long, Duskwayne, Carrot said slowly, lifting up a hoof as he undid the lock of his cage's door. And it's Governor General now, a position ordained by Nightmare herself. Things have changed. The look of hope and confusion tearing across Duskwayne's face ultimately ended in the elder Thrustrel letting out a giddy laugh of a child. Stars above, she has not forsaken me, and the laborers, has she broken their chains? In a way, yes. Carrot Stick said simply, opening the cell door. I'm breaking yours now, though. You're pardoned. Your conviction will remain as legal on the record, but there's no point in you serving out the rest of your sentence for protesting for labor's right when the Native Affairs Commission has been terminated. Duskwayne stepped forward slowly. What now, then? Am I barred from politics, grateful for this mercy? It will be easier to pass social reforms when there's a loud voice on the other end of the aisle, promising anarchy. Next to your rhetoric, my reforms will seem like a level-headed compromise, not a revolution, Carrot coolly explained. This conversation never happened, of course. Understand? Understood? I believe I understand, Governor General. It will be an honor to be your opposition, Dusk said with a long sigh, bowing his head respectfully. May the nightmare bless us all. Now go make some noise. Okay, so he's gonna lead the communists, I presume. Interesting. So we've got our opposition groups now. But once again, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I need to just stop saying I'll see you in a moment at this point. Carrot Darman, this idea is lunacy. He's gone out and formed a barefaced socialist party, Spring Meadow said, looking over her shoulders once more to make sure no pony else was in the office with them. It was just her, Ember, and Carrot still. For once, Carrot's pet reporter was not even present for this, and for good reason. And you executed your plan without consulting us first. I've got the Legionary Council breathing down my neck, demanding to know why we're allowing a heretic communist to rile up the laborers. We have hooves full trying to improve the lives of citizens as well as compensating for the laborers since the Emperor's dismantled the NAC. Ember chimed in, shaking his hoof at the grizzled sea dog barked his protest. We're going to lose the public. Desquain is serving a purpose. He's a moon speaker, still devoted to the Empress, even if he's managed to connect her to some mad vision of socialism. The Nightmare Hoof kept records of all dissidents. He's the least toothless one, but still eloquent enough to gather a following, Carrot explained in his usual decisive manner. He'll draw out all the outliers from our supporters as well as those from the Integration League. He can push an agenda that will turn our most audacious reforms to be moderate. And because he's a moon speaker, our conservative friends won't be able to directly execute him without violating a millennium of tradition. He's a mad pony with delusions that our Empress is somehow sympathetic to communism, Ember pressed, shaking his head as they reached a clear impasse. You're right, though, Carrot conceded. I did act without consulting you. We'll put it to a vote if we allow this to continue. Sprig, it's your call. Darling, this has gone too far, and, the Communist Party will now be called the North Zebrica National Congress, or choosing this event will prevent us from repressing the Communist Political Party through decisions. That sounds risky. But I'm just too curious. Hopefully this is just okay, you're now going communist now, because I'm more wanting it to be a option, because I don't know where I'm going. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Let's go. Why not? Let's make this thing real confusing, yo. But I think that'll be the end of this episode. In the next episode, we'll take down our last rebel, and we'll continue down and finally make it to the end of this part of our focus tree. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And, as always, peace.